If motivation really worked, poor people would be rich by now. But here's the brutal truth: while you scroll, wish, and hope, the rich are quietly building systems that make them untouchable, and you're still stuck, watching from the sidelines. If motivation really worked, poor people would have been rich already. Think about it. Every day millions wake up, scroll their phones, consume content, watch reels, like posts, read quotes about hustle harder and dream bigger, and then go back to the same small apartment, same crowded subway, same monotonous job. Meanwhile, rich people don't waste their time on motivation. They build systems. They manipulate time, money, and influence to work in their favor. Imagine an empty, dimly lit room where a young man sits on a worn-out couch, phone in hand, endlessly scrolling, eyes glazed with hope and frustration, wishing for a life he doesn't yet understand. Every like, every view, every inspirational post temporarily lifts him up, but it's fleeting, a sugar rush of false energy. Now picture the contrast. High above the city, atop a skyscraper, a billionaire leans over the glass balcony, nightlights reflecting on his face, laptop open, phone buzzing occasionally. Yet every notification is a calculated decision, a system running in the background that could make or break millions. The poor mindset is obsessed with comfort, with safety, with temporary satisfaction. It fears failure and avoids risk at almost every corner, thinking hard work alone equals wealth, ignoring the invisible rules that truly govern money, power, and influence. Rich people understand differently. Hard work is irrelevant if it's unstructured. Consistency is useless if applied to the wrong system. They think in networks, leverage, timing, and compounded advantage, not in daily grind or empty motivational phrases. The contrast is brutal. One person spends hours wishing, hoping, scrolling, consuming content about success, while the other quietly designs empires in the shadows, planning moves that will pay dividends years, sometimes decades, ahead. Visualize it: a broken desk, a cheap laptop, piles of overdue bills, a young man trapped in his routine. Surrounded by distractions he cannot escape: YouTube, TikTok, Netflix. Notifications screaming for attention, all designed to keep him in a loop of low-level energy, low-level action, low-level results. Then cut to a cinematic luxury office, glass walls, city lights spilling in, gold and black accents. A man in a perfectly tailored suit moving calmly from call to video conference. His every decision feeding a machine of wealth, influence, and power. Fear is another angle. Poor minds run from fear, they procrastinate, they rationalize, they hesitate, thinking comfort equals safety. Rich minds identify fear, dissect it, exploit it, and use it as fuel to multiply opportunities. Every scary risk the average person avoids is a golden opening for the billionaire. A chance to get ahead, to own assets, to manipulate outcomes while others sleep or scroll. Mindset isn't just a preference. It's the lens that defines the reality you live in. The poor mindset believes in motivation, in pep talks, in daily affirmations, and hoping life will eventually give back. The rich mindset doesn't hope. It calculates, structures, and controls. Picture again the young man on the couch, eyes dull but glowing faintly with desperation, phone still buzzing with the next motivation video, scrolling because it feels like progress but it isn't. Then a sudden cut to a skyscraper at night, reflective glass shimmering, a lone figure staring over the city, every light below like a puzzle piece he's already mastered. Motivation will never compete with structure. Wishing will never compete with calculation. Dreams will never compete with systems. The rich don't wait to feel motivated. They don't wait to feel inspired. They don't wait to hope. They act, they create, they enforce the rules around them. Poor minds chase energy, rich minds create energy. Poor minds follow trends, rich minds dictate trends. And here's the cold, brutal truth. The difference isn't just in effort. It's in mindset, and until you understand this, no amount of motivational content will make you rich. Because while one mind wastes time wishing, the other quietly becomes unstoppable, untouchable, and inevitably dominant. This is why motivation alone is meaningless. Motivation dies in the middle of a hard decision. Mindset survives. Motivation fades after a day. Mindset drives decades of calculated action. In the visual story, the cinematic imagery is clear. The same city at night, one person trapped in scrolling, the other mastering life. This isn't exaggeration. This is EliteLux reality. Dark, brutal, cinematic. And completely true, hard work and wishes don't make people rich. Mindset does. How rich people think differently. The difference between the poor and the rich is not just money. It is the way they see the world, the way they think, the way they act when no one is watching. While ordinary people are terrified of failure, the rich embrace risk disguised as opportunity, calculated, measured, and precise. Imagine a small apartment, dimly lit, where a young man stares at his phone. Bills piling up, rent due, deadlines looming, anxiety filling every corner. Every notification feels like both hope and pressure. But ultimately, it's meaningless because his actions are reactive, never strategic. Now imagine a penthouse, glass walls reflecting city lights, a billionaire leaning back in a leather chair, cigar smoke curling in the air, laptop open, reviewing investments, analyzing markets, making decisions that will ripple through industries, yet to anyone watching, it might look calm, almost effortless. Poor minds are addicted to comfort, they crave security. They measure success in temporary satisfaction, a full bank account for a week, a promotion, a like, a view, a motivational quote. Rich minds are addicted to results, to systems, to leverage, to compounding advantages that multiply silently over years. While an average person spends hours working hard, they are caught in a loop of distractions, chasing quick gratification, scrolling for inspiration, waiting for energy, waiting for motivation, waiting for a sign. The rich don't wait, they create. They calculate. They automate. Fear is treated differently. Where the poor see danger, the rich see signals. Where the poor see risk, the rich see opportunity. Where the poor hesitate, the rich exploit. Every setback, every failure, every market swing is analyzed, deconstructed, and turned into an advantage. Visualize a crowded subway, a young man gripping a pole, headphones on, trying to escape the world outside, thinking about bills, thinking about promotions, thinking about getting lucky someday. Now pan to a quiet terrace above the city. A man with golden cufflinks and a tailored suit looking over skyscrapers, making a single phone call that moves millions, while the world below sleeps unaware. The contrast is harsh, brutal, undeniable. One mindset consumes distraction. The other produces systems. The rich don't just plan for today or tomorrow. They plan for decades, sometimes generations. They think in multiples, multiple streams of income, multiple networks, multiple scenarios, multiple exits. Ordinary people plan in weeks or months, reactive, chasing fleeting motivation, hoping luck will find them. Rich people design outcomes, control variables, manipulate reality until it bends to their vision. Visualize again, a cluttered apartment, dishes in the sink, laundry piling up, anxiety pressing in from every side. The young man scrolls, trying to find answers, believing if he just works harder, life will change. Contrast, a luxury office, minimalistic design, a man sipping whiskey, reviewing spreadsheets, making moves in silence, his empire growing while the city below never notices. Poor minds avoid responsibility. Rich minds embrace it fully, understanding that ownership, control, and accountability are the true currencies of power. Time is another battleground, ordinary people waste it. RICH people leverage it, using systems, automation, and influence to make every hour yield exponentially more. Decisions are faster, more ruthless, more calculated. The poor debate, hesitate, overthink. The rich analyze, act, adapt, and move on. Every luxury car, every private jet, every mansion is not just indulgence. It is a product of thinking differently, of seeing what others ignore, of acting when others procrastinate. This is the EliteLux truth. Rich people don't just work harder, they think differently. And thinking differently creates invisible advantages that manifest as power, wealth, and freedom. And the cinematic reality is clear. The same city, the same night, two people under the same stars, one lost in distraction, fear, and comfort. The other orchestrating outcomes, controlling systems, bending the world quietly, invisibly, and irreversibly. Motivation dies quickly, effort alone fades, hard work alone can be meaningless. But mindset, structured, calculated, fearless, and visionary survives decades. This is the lesson no one tells you. Ordinary effort gets ordinary results. Extraordinary thinking creates extraordinary lives. And if you want to escape the trap, you have to stop chasing motivation, stop copying others, and start thinking like someone who controls reality, not just reacts to it. The poor mind dreams, the rich mind executes. The poor mind waits. The rich mind designs. The poor mind consumes. The rich mind creates. And that one subtle, brutal difference is the gap between someone stuck scrolling on a couch at night and someone standing above a city, Every decision, every action, every system quietly working to turn a vision into unstoppable power, a vision into legacy, a vision into inevitable dominance. From poor mindset to rich mindset, the brutal truth now comes the brutal, unforgiving truth. If you want to escape the average life, if you want to step out of the endless loop of scrolling, distractions, and empty motivation, you must cut comfort, cut excuses, and face reality head-on. Most people think hard work alone is enough. That showing up every day, grinding for hours, hoping for results, will eventually make them rich. They are wrong. Hard work without strategy, without systems, without vision is like running on a treadmill, motion but no progress. Visualize a small apartment, dim light, messy desk, a young man staring at his phone, anxiety in his eyes, fear in his heart, wishing for luck, wishing for change, waiting for motivation to arrive, thinking it will somehow save him. Contrast this with a skyscraper penthouse at night, glass walls reflecting the city below. A billionaire in a tailored suit, calm, deliberate, his empire growing silently through calculated moves. Every decision feeding systems that multiply wealth, influence, and freedom. The truth is harsh. Rich people don't get motivated. They get structured. They don't wait for inspiration. They design processes. They don't follow trends, they create them. They don't hope for opportunities. They manufacture them. Fear is no longer an obstacle. It becomes a guide, a tool to expose weaknesses, reveal gaps, and exploit openings that the average person cannot even see. Time, distractions, and comfort are weapons against the poor mindset. They are allies to the rich mindset. Every wasted hour, every scroll, every minor decision that doesn't contribute to a system of growth is lost energy, lost leverage, lost opportunity. The shift from poor to rich mindset begins with brutal honesty. You must see the reality of your life, the mediocrity of your habits, the futility of temporary motivation, and decide, am I going to react like everyone else? Or am I going to act differently, relentlessly, ruthlessly, and strategically? Visualize again. The same city skyline at night, one man trapped in mediocrity, the other orchestrating outcomes, controlling variables, bending the world silently in his favor. The journey is not easy. It demands sacrifice, long nights, calculated risks, and the courage to embrace fear rather than flee from it. It demands patience where others are impulsive, focus where others are distracted, and vision where others are blind. The brutal truth is this: if you continue chasing motivation, if you continue living in comfort, if you continue hoping for luck, you will remain ordinary. But if you adopt a rich mindset, if you stop wishing, start structuring, start thinking in systems, start leveraging every opportunity, every connection, every decision, you step into the world of power, influence, and inevitable success. Rich people are not lucky. They are calculated, relentless, and disciplined in ways most cannot comprehend. Motivation is temporary. Mindset is permanent. Hard work is common. Structured action is rare. Dreams are easy. Execution is brutal. The visual story is cinematic. One man scrolling in his dim room, trapped, fearful, distracted, his life a reflection of his poor mindset. The other standing above the city, calm, dominant, controlling variables, bending outcomes, building legacies. A literal illustration of the EliteLux principle. Wealth, power, and freedom are not bought with motivation. They are created with mindset. And this is the ultimate reality no one will tell you. The only way out of mediocrity is to think differently, act strategically, and embrace the uncomfortable truth that rich people don't just work harder, they design, structure, and dominate. And that is the brutal truth that separates the average from the extraordinary.